This week's episode of the Pretty Neat Podcast is brought to you by you. That's right, if you'd like us to promote your content or your store, let us know by going to theprettyneatpodcast.com and clicking the mailbag.
It's time.
Do we do a Bruce Buffer impression? I'm gonna pass today.
I don't think so. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay, but
I
yes.
think today and every day we pass.
Well, I had to open up my now recurring peach mango cider.
This is like the fourth member of the show.
At this point, yeah.
I like it. Or maybe it's the fifth. I think Liquid Death is kind of the unofficial fourth.
Yes, you're right. And I think even Howler Head probably has a small, like a substitute status for that.
Red wine is in there.
Yeah, you're a frequenter of the
Oh, yeah.
red wine. Do you have a favorite type of red?
You're saying like a grape varietal?
Yeah, well, I mean, I know that like Cabernet is one type. And
yeah. I like a Pinot Noir. I like anything that's an estate wine. You know what an estate wine is?
I do not.
An estate wine is a wine that is produced solely on one vineyard.
Oh, okay. This makes sense.
From what I understand in the wine world, it's pretty common to buy excess grapes or even like the mashed grapes and blend with your own grapes, depending on your production. So yeah, anything that's estate grown is good. I like a thoughtful blend. I like a nice Zinfandel. I like a nice Syrah. Sangiovese is always good. I had a Bordeaux Superior the other day, which is a French wine, I believe, from somewhere in France, and maybe even the Bordeaux region of France. And it was good, not great.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Welcome to the Pretty Neat Podcast, where
also good, not great.
yes, that was a great segue. That isn't
go.
the pitch I threw, but you still fucking hit it.
Yeah, I did.
It's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast.
That's Dom. I'm Aaron, and Ryan is not here today because he is a responsible adult and doing his work.
I don't know what that's like, but speaking of work,
yeah.
You know what always marks the beginning of the school year for me?
Oh boy.
Is when I wake up on a morning and my sinuses feel like somebody ran them over many times with sandpaper. Yeah, it's not great.
Is that just like germ exposure from the thousands of kids?
It is.
Okay.
That is in fact exactly what it is. And you can there's always a patient zero among the adults. And that person always comes to work, and then within 48 hours, everybody else.
Yeah. What's her name? And she's obviously been doing it for too long.
It is both of those things, yes.
Yeah, I figured that's the type of person.
Maybe not the doing it for too long thing.
Okay, but the comfort to be like, I'm okay. No, it's like, no, not that type of person.
Yeah.
No, you stay home so nobody else gets sick. That's the point. Nobody gives a fuck if you're suffering.
I have it, and I'm not really. It's not bad enough to stay home.
Sure.
So,
but contagious enough to be spread.
I'm not really sure. I had a hot toddy yesterday that was just delightful. That made me feel better for about 45 minutes. So that was cool.
What's a hot toddy?
You don't know what a hot toddy is?
And I feel like as soon as you tell me, I'm going to know. And I'm going to feel silly.
It's basically tea, except instead of using tea leaves or say a tea bag, you use 2.5 ounces of whiskey.
Yep, I did.
Mixed with boiling water, cinnamon, lemon, some honey if you've got it.
I heard about that on another good but not great podcast called Away with Words,
Okay.
where they talk about the origin of words.
I would imagine they could do hundreds of millions of episodes because there's a lot of words.
Yes, I'm sure they have. Yeah. Speaking of, is that what anything else crazy with work? Just going?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I have I can't go into detail,
Okay.
but my work is currently producing podcasts,
Yeah.
as some may know. And last week was a fantastic event that occurs annually here in Austin called Federal Supernova, which is where the government and dual use investment firms that go military, go private, come out and see what all the startups are doing. South by
Feed that
Southwest.
industrial complex. I love it.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I've seen so many drone manufacturers in the last couple of weeks. But I feel like I know way too much.
Mm.
But not like everybody was saying these things in this space.
Okay.
And yes, there were things said that were on the podcast that he was like, "Oh, actually you need to take that out." Okay, cool, make a note, won't put that in. But I don't know if it's because they slipped a top national secret or like a company secret or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
man, I've talked about how there's a lot of action on the moon. There's just a lot of action with space in general,
What
first
do you
of
mean a
all.
lot of action on the moon? Let's unpack this.
There's at least one country every week that is landing something on the moon right
Not
now.
people,
Not
because that's
people.
never happened, right? But something.
Never in the history of mankind.
That is correct.
That is
Carry
one
on.
small step we haven't taken.
I agree.
And it's they're just sending a lot up, India just landed one successfully, I think last week.
For what purpose? What do they think is up there?
Well, that's for two purposes. Well, three, if you just want to count mankind's natural dominion tendencies. We see something, we want to go there and take it over,
or lie about going there and taking it over. Carry on.
or as we know, that's in the sanctum of truth. But so
Thank you for saying "as we know" there.
Yeah,
because you're right, we do know.
As a content producer myself, I can say that cameras may or may not have been able to function on the moon at that time. The answer is they could.
Seems unlikely.
But I mean, a lot of it is it's infrastructure building there right now, primarily for mining ore and materials from the moon to build things on the moon, not necessarily to bring back for any purpose here, but also to break down to create fuel from the moon, because the moon is more so viewed as a launching point. It's way cheaper to launch rockets from the moon because of gravity not being such a problem. And if you don't have to take the fuel from the Earth to the moon and can make it there, you really don't have to send up these big monstrous rockets anymore. You can really start talking more about transporting things there, and people going up there.
Do they have clean water in Flint, Michigan yet? I'm asking for a friend.
I don't know what sound effect I'm gonna put right there, but it's gonna be a good one.
Oh, they don't? Okay. Well then let's stop. Let's not do the we're gonna get fuel from the moon thing. But I get it. Feed the complexes. I'm for it.
That's actually a great thing. If I had been approached by some general or some company or some contractor that's like, yeah, we're getting water on the moon, I will retort with, are you sending it to Flint, Michigan? I've heard they need it.
They do.
Shit, Texas needs it right now. I
Is
told
it?
you,
It's been like 110 here. It's miserable.
yeah, I think it may have been before the last episode. We had a 45-day streak of over 100 degrees, which was
Ugh,
the longest in Texas's history.
it's a long time.
Yeah. And yeah, it was 99 today, so it was a little bit of a relief.
All right.
I think Suga is going to be a great champion. I really do.
Okay.
I know we're going back a week because we didn't have an episode last week.
Also, no one cares about the fights that took place last Saturday. Carry on.
I'm not going to disagree with that, aside from the obligatory Phoenix for KZ.
No. I'm on record with my feelings about this.
Yes, you are. And if everybody's interested in our opinions on that, go to our Discord. You'll be
Where someone has been copying and pasting what I'm saying, apparently, which is fine.
I wish that was true, and I'm not that smart. But that's a good idea. I'll have to make a fake Dom account and be the runner of it. Anyway, yeah, I think Suga is gonna do very well. I did see that he opened in tentative odds for a rematch with Aljamain as the favorite.
Yeah, that's correct.
He still opened as the dog against Merab.
That is incorrect.
I also kind of think that's incorrect after the last one.
I actually think, and Ryan's going to hate this, I think Merab is an easier fight than Aljamain Sterling after seeing him fight Aljamain Sterling.
Mm.
You know, because you know what jumped out at me about the way he approached it, which I did not anticipate, and I don't think anyone did. The way he managed space against him and sort of prevented takedowns was with his striking and his kicks. He didn't, it wasn't really takedown defense as much as it was, I'm going to jab at you every time I think you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to frustrate you and you load up and try to like Superman punch me. I know it wasn't an actual Superman punch, but you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get out of the way of that and drop you.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good logic if you think about it.
Yeah, and watching his training video, which showed him practicing that counter over and over again, they knew what they were getting into with Aljamain, and Aljamain's plan was to ride him like a backpack. He never succeeded at it because of what you just said Sean was doing. And I was amazed to hear that Sean also had not been training on the ground because of an injury for the whole time. So he really was dependent on that defense and the grappling.
Well, he was never going to beat him on the ground. So like in a way, it kind of doesn't matter. But to not be able to train the stand up from that is, it's interesting.
A lot of people compared that counter to McGregor's punch of Aldo. How would you compare the potential future of Suga versus McGregor's? Because I mean, he won the belt, never defended it, moved up, won the belt, never defended it, and then basically bailed.
Yeah, I think Sugar's going to have a longer UFC reign for sure than Conor.
Yeah.
I don't see him competing in 2 weight classes necessarily. Although I actually do think seeing him fight Alexander Volkanovski would be really interesting. Not saying he would beat him. I'm just saying at 155 or 45 rather, I think that would be an interesting fight.
Yeah. I'd never really even put that in my head.
Just because I think O'Malley is so like he's there's no one like him. There's no one that does what he does. So training for him, I would imagine, is an absolute motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? How do you simulate what he does?
Yeah, and thinking about lightweight, there's really not the people who have that. Well, there's nobody that has his creativity. I do really think
lightweight or featherweight?
Featherweight, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
145. Yeah, I can't really
I guess
anybody...
Yair would be closest, right?
Yeah, not to lend too much credence to Max Holloway's performance, because I'm wasn't super impressed
Sean
by
O'Malley would beat the fuck out of Max Holloway.
Max is very big. He's pretty big.
He's probably too big for Sean O'Malley.
I think he's pretty big. But that would probably be an interesting fight. See, that would be interesting to me. Like to see how
Sean's
Sean.
not he's not little though.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. He seemed a little bit bigger than Aljamain, if I remember correctly.
So
Lanky.
he's longer for sure. I don't know that he weighs more necessarily. I think he walks at 150, 155. He in fact I think he joked, I think it was with Joe Rogan where he joked about if he just fought at 155, he's like, what am I going to go do? Fight Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje? Like, they'd beat the shit out of me. I'm not doing that. And it makes sense because those guys are way bigger than him.
Yes.
I don't know that he will ever have the global appeal that Conor does, but I think domestically he's probably the only guy on the roster with a chance to get into that Conor stratosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a guy like Israel Adesanya and even John Jones in the fight sports world, not even just MMA, but all combat sports, I think those two guys are household names. I think Khabib was that right there. I think Makhachev is right there. I think Volkanovski is getting there. But as far as just like crossover appeal, I think Sean O'Malley is right there. I really do. I'm not saying he's going to get there. I'm saying he has potential.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that, there's Conor had like a generational appeal as well. He introduced a lot of people to the sport because they liked him, but it's not because they. I would say it's not because of the sport, right? It's the antics and his personality and everything else.
Yep.
Sean has an entirely new generation of people and fans,
and he speaks to the younger crowd,
to a much younger crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's on Twitch and playing video games, which I mean, Mighty Mouse is doing way before that, but he's an older guy,
and he's boring, and Sean's not boring.
Yeah, no 24-year-old or 23-year-old is gonna sit down and watch me play Grand Theft Auto. Like, it's what do we have in fucking common?
That is true. They are not.
But they might. He's in his 20s and he's doing what he wants to do and he's kicking ass at it, and that's great. That being said, it's interesting to think that like when people were getting into the sport with Conor McGregor, having to kind of tell them about the other people, like, I'm trying to think of other names that really jumped out before Conor. Even Anderson Silva. Like, if somebody was introduced to the sport and they were like, oh, Conor McGregor is the greatest fighter ever, and then everyone else would be like, actually, you should look at Anderson Silva or George St. Pierre.
Or John Jones.
Or John Jones. Look at
we
those
could just
people.
get it right. We don't have to say those other guys.
Sure. Well, I'm talking like back in
it
the
makes
day.
me mad when you do that.
Like, but John Jones and Conor weren't that far apart in terms of years. Like,
no, that is correct, and they're roughly the same age, right?
Yeah. So I'm talking like somebody gets into the sport because of Conor. You kind of explain the greats that existed, the legacy before.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I'll give you that.
And now there's going to be people getting into Sean O'Malley, and it's going to be like, oh, you should go watch Conor's old fights. He's pretty fun too. Like, he's not going to do well as being the UFC's number 2. If Sean really blows up, which he could, he
will never be bigger than Conor.
Probably not.
Even though he will very likely end up with a much more successful career in the octagon, he will not. Nobody is. I mean,
he may also
not happening.
He may also fiscally wind up better than Conor.
No way.
I think. Oh, you know what? The boxing and stuff. If he boxes, that could change things a little bit. But
it's not even the boxing. He sold Proper 12 for what? $400 million.
Did he sell it?
He's still like attached to it, but
well, and that's not all his. Like, that's gonna go to every investor he's got.
But similar to the way LeBron made a fuck ton of money when Apple bought Beats, Yeah, in 2021, Connor was the highest paid athlete of the year globally, topping like Messi and Ronaldo.
That's wild.
He made $180 million in just 2020. He's what did they sell Proper 12 for? Let's see. And we drank some Proper 12 together one time, remember? It's actually not bad.
No, it's
600 million in sales, 250 in profit. Um
ah it's
so
a little more
I
sense.
mean, Sean's not topping $250 million. It's just not happening. That's so much money.
It's not impossible if he keeps his social media shit going.
Let's see.
If he really builds that up, and especially with
Sean right now, they've got him in the like 2.2 million range. Granted, that's going to like exponentially jump.
yeah, as an
Um,
athlete, that's what he's been paid, or like that's kind of
those
his.
are his that's what his net worth is estimated to be.
I could see that right now, but depending on if he gets in good with some good people, he should probably get into cannabis.
Well, he
And
is, right?
yeah, and he
So
should get into it more because that'll
so we talked about this
blow up.
and it was in our text message thread, and I think it's worth mentioning. It's pretty, and Ryan mentioned it last week actually, or 2 weeks ago. The UFC wanted Sean O'Malley to win.
Yeah.
It's really not even to me it's not even a question. So Sweet Sweat,
Yeah.
which is a company which is a product of a company called Sports Research. Sports Research makes all kinds of supplements. Sweet Sweat is their biggest brand. This is not a free shout out. I have actually been a Sweet Sweat user. There's actually it's right. I know my thing's all blurred out. It's literally right behind me, the tube. Um, my wife got me that. She put it in my Christmas stocking. Yeah, we do Christmas stockings. Gay, I know. Um, like 4 years ago, and I've been a user of their products ever since because it fucking works. You lather it, I'm bald on my head, my neck, my like chest area, and get in the sauna, dude. It's nuts. So Sweet Sweat has been advertised on the UFC mat quite a bit at different times. But this time they had their Sugar Sean edition, which has CBD in it.
Mm.
Um, so and it's a little pricey, but they put his fucking name on the mat, dude. Like,
Yeah.
and there were commercials with him, and they were showing his highlights, and then like less than an hour after the fight, the entire second round with the highlight knockout was on YouTube on the UFC's official YouTube page, which never happens.
Never.
Like that's just a they pretty clearly wanted him to win. We're fans. Let's be very transparent. We are fans of Aljamain Sterling on this show.
Mm-hmm.
But the UFC at the end of the day is about dollars and cents, and he is nowhere near as profitable as Sean O'Malley is.
Nowhere near.
So
And
that's
that's huge. Like, could
right.
you imagine being Funkmaster and Sugar Sean's names on the map?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
yeah,
Like you've had this run of title defenses and wins in this division, and this is the highest selling bantamweight main event of all time, I suppose, pay-per-view wise. And it's because of the other guy, not
yeah,
because of you. Like that's frustrating.
very.
But
Yeah,
what are you gonna do? You know?
yeah, yeah. We're not, people just weren't down with the funk, you know? What can you do? And Sean too, um, with that release, like because he's such a social media presence, you have to get it out now. Like with him, like he needs to be able to share that with his people.
Yep.
You know, that's a big part of why I think they released it early, not just to like get his name out super quick, which I'm sure is just an added benefit,
Yep.
um, and a good reason to do it, a good pro on the list. The other pro is that his people want it now and they want it fast, and he wants to share it as soon as he can, and he
And
will.
that's why he's gonna fight Cheeto in December.
Mm-hmm.
Because luckily for the UFC, Cheeto won, and I think they're looking around saying, well, Cheeto's an easier fight than Merab, and we don't really know where Henry Cejudo is, and Cheeto's an easier fight than Corey Sandhagen.
Mm-hmm.
So the option is you just put him in there with someone you know he's going to beat, or at least you have a pretty good chance. And, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think Cheeto's gonna figure out his timing like he did Dominic Cruz. Uh, he,
No.
Suga just is too varied in how he slips out. Like,
And he's, since their last fight, he's gotten better, and I would argue Cheeto's gotten worse.
um,
At
I'd
the very
probably
best, he's stayed the same.
I'd probably align with you on a lot of that argument. Stayed the same, very much so.
I'd have to go and look at it. Did you see, speaking of money, did you see the payouts from 292?
I did not.
Okay, who do you think was the highest paid fighter on the card?
I would need. Can I have multiple choice?
I'm going to give you a hint.
I'm bringing up.
It is. Well, don't Google it.
No, I'm bringing up the event because I don't remember who else is on that card.
So it was someone. It is probably the right decision for who.
I'm gonna
for who's got them up. For who? Sorry. Wow, language. It is the right decision for who was on the card as far as who got paid the most. Probably the most decorated or second most decorated fighter on the card, for that matter.
I'm gonna go with Chris Weidman.
No, what? No,
really?
Don't say that. No, not even close.
Ian Gary?
No. Most decorated fighter on the card.
Zhang Wei Li.
Zhang Wei Li.
Good.
520,000.
Makes sense.
It's not a bad payday.
Makes dollars. In fact.
Chris Weidman, 426. That's not bad.
I knew he would be way up there, except for not getting any pay-per-view points.
Yep. The next two, this is Amanda Lemos got 250. And then Sean and Aljo both got the same 500.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
This does not include, bonuses, sponsorships, or other locker room bonuses. So not including like fight of the night, knockout of the night, pay-per-view points, or anything like that.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. UFC 292 was good.
UFC 292 was very good.
Yep, it definitely earned the B plus.
I'll tell you this: if Zhang Wei Li brings that shit to Tatiana Suarez,
could be a rough night for Tatiana Suarez.
No, for Zhang Wei Li.
Oh, you think so?
If that version of Zhang Wei Li shows up, Tatiana Suarez is going to beat the fuck out of her.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I only watched highlights of that one.
So,
what am I gonna do? There was
Kurt Holloway with the triangle choke.
Yes.
Brad Katona. I feel like we got a lot of our picks right.
We did. We had a pretty good night. And even the ones where we were split like weren't far off. They were tough fights. When I was thinking about, I wasn't thinking about Zhang Wei Li's performance, about how she would have trouble. I was thinking about Erin Blanchfield, from this past weekend.
That is correct.
She was just, it wasn't there. Like, she made it through that fight, but I do not understand what the dominance thing kind of fell to the wayside for me.
Yeah.
Not that she won't be dominant, which I'm assuming she's on the rankings now.
Who are we talking about?
Erin Blanchfield.
She already was. Well, she was third before. She's second now.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Alexa Grasso. I mean, I almost want to see her fight Valentina.
She is gonna fight Valentina.
Is that the next fight?
I think it's at 294.
Okay. Cool.
I think it's on the same card as John and Stipe.
Okay. Nice. That
am I wrong?
I don't know. I don't see a next fight for Aaron Blanchfield.
Let's see. UFC.
Valentina.
Or is it 295?
Valentina is fighting Alexa Grasso. They have a rematch on September 16th.
Yeah, that's 295. That's wait.
It's a fight night.
Oh. Valentina's fighting on a fight night?
Yep.
What?
As the contender. September
No
16th.
way.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
For the belt?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you know why?
Because there's nobody else good on it. Why?
No, I thought that was the opening weekend of the NFL. It's not. Huh. Women's flyweight main event title fight. Wow.
Oh wow. And Kelvin Gastelum versus Shavkat Rakhmonov is the co-main. Kevin Holland versus
Wait,
Jack
when?
Della Magdalena. The same card. This is a good card.
So ESPN doesn't have the Kevin it has Kevin Holland. It doesn't have Shavkat on there.
I'm on UFC.com and they do have Kelvin Gastelum and Shavkat at welterweight.
Damn.
Kevin Holland and Jack Della Maddalena, Jesus. D-Rod and Santiago Ponzinibbio. That will be a good fist fight. But I wouldn't necessarily.
Raul Rosas Jr. is good with Terrence Mitchell.
Yeah.
What in the fuck is this?
This is a wild fight night to be getting.
This is a.
Oh my gosh, Chris Curtis and Anthony Hernandez also,
and Tracy Cortez and Jasmine Judavicius.
What?
This is. It almost makes me think they have this wrong, and it's at T-Mobile. A fight night.
It says fight night. Maybe they're just being nice. I don't know. I mean, I don't think they would get the pay-per-view numbers.
No.
With this headliner.
Sir,
so no, I mean, I guess I get that.
That is. Oh, it's Noche UFC. Noche Maybe that's UFC. Why they. Yeah. Is it Mexican Independence Day? I apologize. That's not what that is.
Gotcha. Making it free. Well, that makes sense for.
And Grasso. Do you know what? You can get good seats for not that much money. Here's what bums me out. How can I figure this out?
Are you going to Vegas a different day, but very close to that?
No. So that's the Saturday that Ryan and I have our drunken afternoon planned. So maybe that just becomes drunken afternoon into evening where we watch the fights together. But I was thinking my wife and kids are going to be out of town that weekend. So I'm thinking, do I just drive out there and go to this thing? But the next day, I got for a coworker. He goes, "Hey man, I have this Connect," and because he was in my office and he saw my Rams stuff on the wall, and he's like, "Oh hey, I have this XYZ contact, and he has season ticket, pretty good seats at SoFi if you want to go." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, dude, I'd love to, whatever." And I just expected nothing to come of it. And then like 4 days later, he sends me a text message with a picture of the Rams schedule and like 4 games crossed out. And he's like, "All right, which one do you want to go to?" And so the next day, the 17th, is their home opener against San Francisco. So we're going to that, which is the day after this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
This is an interesting. Do you know what the Flixbus is?
No.
Okay. So the Flixbus is a bus that will take you from some places to other places, as buses do. Did
they like do movies or something? Like Flix like movie?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. So let's see. On that Saturday, let's say, to go from very close to me to not that far away to go to Las Vegas on the bus, I could leave at these times aren't great. I don't like these times. Don't show me these times. Theoretically, though, you can do it in about 4.5 hours and it's about $30. And it takes you right to Las Vegas Boulevard. which is really not bad.
No.
So then you figure coming back, but the thing is, I'd like to get the whole day there, and the earliest it can do it. Now, can it take us? And Ryan, if you're listening, don't think you're not included in this, buddy, because you are. Now, on the 15th, Aaron, because I know you asked, we could go at. Yeah, okay. So for funsies, you leave at 6:50 and you come back. See, this is too late to come back for the football game, which bums me out. And the latest bus back is 8:30 at night. So that's not going to work. Oh, wait, no. Oh. 12:15.
Do you know who the actress Rooney Mara is?
Yeah.
And her sister, Kate Mara?
Yes.
You know who their dad is?
No.
The owner of the New York Giants.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think I did know that.
Yeah.
So for $64, you get a round trip on a bus. You don't have to worry about driving. That's really not bad.
No, to go to Vegas.
And that'd be
Okay.
Friday night to Saturday night, basically.
Nice. That ain't bad. Nice.
$100 to
Right.
go to the fights. That's not terrible.
No.
I'm
T-Mobile
raking in that
Arena.
admin money now, you know?
Yeah, and T-Mobile Arena is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I agree.
You know what other arena is awesome is the Accor Marina in
So are we done with 292?
Yeah.
Can we put it in the books?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sean O'Malley,
Come on the pod.
please do.
And now it's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast picks.
So 2 weeks ago, and really this past Saturday, there's these bullshit fight night cards, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
but then this Saturday
Yeah. Ciryl
is like a
Gane.
really good card that I think starts at 9 in the morning my time.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
prelims.
9:30.
Yeah, the prelims start at 11:30 my time, which is a lovely time for fights to start. I love how they beefed up the main card with French fighters, which I suppose wasn't too hard. There's quite a few French fighters on the roster now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is a nice card. This is a very nice card.
It's a really good card.
Yeah. The three at the top, you know, Ciryl
Bangers.
Gane, Ciryl
Bangers.
Geez, totally. Manon Farrow versus Rose. Bang
Gonna be
hers,
interesting.
I guess.
Neither, but sure.
I would love to watch both of them fight. I think this has a Rose victory all over it, even though
Maybe.
Manon is the
Maybe.
favorite.
I don't think Manon's that good.
That's the thing is like when she first came onto the scene, she was violent, she was creative, she was interesting to watch. But in her last two, which the last one was against Sermonara, formerly
Mhm.
Katie Chooks, which she won, but it wasn't amazing. And then before that, she beat Silva, and another one, just another decision. And I mean, she won, but she fought Maya before that. After that, Jennifer Maya. This will be Manon's first fight this year. I mean, she's gonna come off of 11 months.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm interested to see what kind of energy she brings with that. Rose too hasn't fought in a long time, but I'd give her the veteran edge on this, and I don't think Rose is washed yet.
Well, she's the best.
She's the best if she wants to be.
So Rose last fought May of 2022. She has also not fought this year.
Wow. Even
She is an
longer.
underdog. Oh, also speaking of betting, Was
Hmm.
Sean by knockout plus 330?
I think he was in the second round, specifically in the
But
second.
before the fight, it was plus 330, I think.
Just for
I'm
went by
almost positive
knockout.
it was, yeah.
That's so
And
ridiculous.
we talked about it. I talked about it specifically. Like that's a ludicrous line.
It is because that's how he's gonna win.
It's the literal only way.
Yeah,
Plus 180 would have made sense or something, but fuck, plus 330?
yeah. I'm pretty sure that was like the pick to make that a lot of the guys were saying to make.
The other
Um,
argument, I guess, would have been because we know the UFC wanted him to win, was that it was like and God, so did that crowd in Boston. Did you see that shit?
yeah, they did.
Um,
They booed Aljamain. He's from
yeah,
like a couple hours away.
yeah, but they hate New York.
That's true.
Um, the argument would be if it got to decision, there was some sort of, oh, well, he did more damage type of deal. Um, Either way, Rose is the best. She lost by split decision against Carla, although I think that was probably the right call.
Hmm.
May of 22. Carla
Yeah.
no longer the champ there. Um,
Yeah.
Rose is moving up to, is it flyweight? Yeah,
Yeah.
125, not 115.
Yeah. I,
So
I
you've got Rose there.
I've got Rose here.
So
Um,
UFC,
by submission. I'll even say she wins by
really?
submission. And I think if it goes to decision, that it I don't know. We'll have to see. I think Rose is gonna get hit more,
Okay.
but I think that she's got the ground and I think she's got the experience. So
So Rose plus 154, 155, depending on where you're looking at it. I suppose the betting, like that's the value bet, but I think it's a stay away because you just don't know.
mhm.
Rose could kick her head off inside of 45 seconds
Yeah.
or just get held on the ground for 15 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, she could. And uh you just whatever her game plan is that's questionable now. And it sucks that like before it was just her mindset. Like it was hard to pick her because it was which Rose shows up tonight. And now it's not only that, it's did they plan correctly? Because their plan for Carla was fucking stupid and it cost her the belt. And I won't even say it was her fault. Like she didn't show up. Her coaches were telling her she won. Like they that she followed the plan exactly. Like they
What
were
is her
just as
coach's name?
is it Travis Brown? Is that her husband
No,
coach?
no, her husband is Pat something,
Pat Barry. Yep, you're right. It's Pat Barry.
but it's the same gym that Kamaru trains at.
Is
Is it
it?
Trevor Whitman?
Did she train at Whitman? Oh, she does. She does train with Whitman, yeah.
High altitude or whatever. Yeah, Trevor Whitman.
Okay.
Kind of a rough stretch for him, except for Gaethje, I guess. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. But again, it's just adding to the validity of this random fight night that's really great of this card.
yeah,
Uh,
this is a fun fight night card for
Yeah.
sure.
And before that, you get Benoit Saint Denis, and Thiago Moises.
Mm-hmm.
And even though Thiago Moises might be the most boring interview and frankly forgettable fighter, he has these victories that are just crazy. Like he just does. Um,
Thiago.
yeah, like
Uh-huh.
Costa, and then before that, when he beat Christian Giagos, his which was like his comeback, ruined that.
Yep.
Um, so that's a great one too. Obviously neither of them are in the rankings. I mean, a really great performance by Moises might put him back in the rankings, but even that I don't see. I can't believe that Volkan Ozdemir is still in the top 10.
Well, I can't believe it's not butter.
Uh,
You're welcome.
thank you.
For the record, give me the Frenchman there, Benoit Saint Denis. Actually, I think the French are going to do very well on this card.
I do too. William Gomez, another name that is starting to become more familiar to me. He beat the South African, or is the Marshall the South African weirdo?
Are you in like a fantasy UFC all European keeper league or some shit?
No,
No.
that's a good idea though.
Francis Marshall. What are you asking about him?
William Gomez beat him.
Yeah, he did.
Did he finish him? I think he did.
Nope, split decision.
Shit. Oh well.
He
Yeah,
was he was a little paralyzed by Francis Marshall's crazy good looks.
that's what it is.
I'll
Yeah.
say this. Um, you have knowledge of like remember, Patty comes over and you're like, oh yeah, and Ian Gary and apparently William Gomez. You know a lot of these Euro guys before I do anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I know that we watch a variety of sports. Sorry, I should say this. You watch a variety of sports.
Yeah. Somebody asked me the other day, they're like, what sports do you like? I was like, all of them.
Yeah.
They're like, what do you mean? I was name one. Those are the ones I like. Not WNBA though.
Have you been watching the South African cricket finals?
Cricket, I've tried because it comes up on ESPN Plus sometimes, and I don't understand.
Yeah. You watch a variety of sports. I watch a variety of the same sport.
I like that. Oh shit. Are you watching Contender Series right now, by the way?
I am not. I believe it's over.
It's on my TV, but we're in different time zones. This guy in the blue shorts just really knocked out this guy in the red shorts. Which is my favorite thing about Contender Series.
Oh yes, I do have it. It is still. Oh my goodness, Ramirez is waking up. What did he hit him with?
Like a 1-2 combo.
Huh.
And a body shot before that.
Yeah, I see him dancing around. Oh,
are you watching the slow motion?
Yeah, right now.
Right there. Oh yeah.
Oh,
and by 1-2 combo, I meant
yeah, done.
Straight left.
Oof. And that body kick was intense.
Do you know anything about denim?
No.
Okay.
Why?
No reason. I've recently gotten very into a specific type of denim and a specific type of construction of denim, and Dana White seems like the type of guy that would have it.
Oh, it's that kind of denim.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, speaking of the variety of sports that we watch, that I watch, I'd like to congratulate California's Little League baseball team for winning the Little League World Series this year against Curacao.
Did they win the whole thing?
They won the whole thing.
Good for them.
Guess what other U.S. team they had to beat to get into the U.S. To the World Final?
Wasn't it Minnesota?
It was Texas. No, it was Seattle.
Seattle. Oh yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
Right.
Seattle.
In between Texas and Minnesota is Seattle.
Yeah. California beat Texas, and then Texas played Seattle for the wild card spot against California for the final for the US, and Seattle edged them out.
Nice.
But yeah, welcome back to the US Little
Did
League
you
World
see
Series champion trophy.
There are, I'm looking it up right now.
The only World Series that incorporates the rest of the world.
Well, the regular World Series does too, because there's a lot of international players.
Fair enough.
So as of last year, there are 1, 2, 3. I think there's now a fourth. There's a guy that plays for the Giants. There's like 4 guys that have played in the Little League World Series, the College World Series, and the Major League World Series.
Oh, really?
That's pretty fucking cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a pair of brothers as well. Not with that intensely good of a record, but
baseball players?
Yeah, there's a pair.
You're talking about the Uptons.
The Uptons, yes. They were both in the Little League World Series in different seasons.
Yep.
And both are now in the major leagues. And are they on the same team?
Neither of them are in the major leagues anymore.
Gotcha.
BJ and Justin.
Because weren't they in the Little League in like the 80s?
No, not that long ago.
Not that long? Okay.
They were both good players at times. You can't go to Anaheim and ask about Justin Upton. He is not.
Yeah.
We don't like him.
Okay.
But they were on a prep team that had like five guys. Yeah. They were on travel teams with Mark Reynolds, David Wright, and Ryan Zimmerman. Wright and Zimmerman were multiple time All-Stars. Mark Reynolds was never an All-Star, but played in the major leagues for 12 years. So I think they won a lot of games.
Yeah. What's the
I
status of Otani?
I love shit like that, where I just completely skate over that question and go on to this next thing.
Okay.
There was a baseball player for the Minnesota Twins. He was a catcher, Joe Mauer. 6'5" catcher, which is crazy, and he was a phenomenal hitter. The story about him is he played 4 years of varsity high school baseball and struck out once.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what happened with Shohei Ohtani?
Hmm.
The Angels just angeled it up. So,
You blame the Angels?
do you know who CJ Wilson is?
Is he one of their medics?
No.
No, I do not then.
So CJ Wilson was a pitcher. Christopher John Wilson, left-handed pitcher. He is a straight edge guy. You know what straight edge is?
I do.
He pitched for a couple of teams, signed as a free agent with the Angels. In 2015, pitched for them from or 2012 rather, pitched for them from 2012 to 2015. He signed a 5-year, $77 million deal. Which by today's standards is a bargain. He was an all-star one time, and he was 51-35 in that stretch, which is good. And then he had to retire because he hurt his shoulder. He likes race cars. So he went on this rant on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck it's called after the Ohtani UCL tear. And he says the Angels said, just get Chick-fil-A if you need to eat. Be physically ready for 8 a.m. workouts. Run really hard to first base and you'll be in great shape. There was a whole thing. He says there was no breakfast served at spring training until the second week of spring training in 2012. No weight room until 2013. Coming from Texas, where fitness was 100% expected, it was shocking how lazy they expected the players to be. He said they wouldn't buy Albert Pujols a special treadmill because it was too expensive.
Damn. What's up with the management or the owners? Are they just cheap or?
Well, Artie Moreno is the Angels owner. He is the richest man in the state of Arizona.
Okay.
He is a multi-billionaire. I have been ranting about the Angels so if you could see the text message thread between me and my grandma and my uncle, all Angel fans, pretty diehard Angel fans, you can watch some of these teams and they'll have a player or a trainer on YouTube take you or the viewer through their facility. The Dodgers, the Mariners now or the White Sox rather, who share with the Dodgers, the Mariners and the Padres who share a complex. They're not facilities in Arizona. They're complexes. Where they have a field, multiple fields, training facilities. Sometimes they have little retail shops, like all kinds of crazy shit.
The way you described it made me want to go.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. San Francisco has just a mind-blowing facility up there. The Angels don't have any of that. Or down there, I should say. The Angels don't have any of that. They don't. When I thought he was going to sell the team, and I thought it was either going to be the Warriors owner or the Rams owner that bought him, I was so excited because both of those guys spare no expense on the stuff that doesn't count against the tax or the cap. Not the cap, but the luxury tax. So you can spend as much as you want. You can build a 1,000,000 square foot training facility if you want to, with state-of-the-art everything. And like relatively to you, it doesn't cost that much money. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
and put all of it, and then you can expect your players to spend their off seasons there. And can't force them necessarily, but they will if the facilities are there,
Yeah.
or at least a good chunk of it. And so the fact that the Angels just don't do that frustrates me. And they've had the most injuries in Major League Baseball this year again. And to me, it's not a coincidence.
Fair enough.
It's just not a coincidence.
Yeah.
And I'm struggling in my fandom, man.
Yeah. It's like
The story,
it's like TJ Dillashaw and his camp and how everybody was getting the same neck and shoulder injuries. And they were
yeah,
starting to say that it's because of this training, this specific training that they're having us do, and it seems to actually be causing a lot of long-term problems. It
very well could
kind of
be.
sounds like they have a similar issue going.
Except it's they spend way more money on these players than TJ Dillashaw makes. No shade at TJ Dillashaw, but it's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
And they have been way less successful than him. So
Yeah.
it just frustrates me. You can't buy a World Series. You can't buy you can't buy a competitive record in Major League Baseball. You really can't. But if I look at the standings, I can't speak too much to the East Coast teams, but the Mariners, the Rangers for sure, the Astros for sure, all have absolute state of the art facilities. The Braves, the Phillies, um, the Nationals and the Mets, the Cubs, which I've seen, it's incredible. The Dodgers, the Padres and the Giants. It's all like all these teams, they all do it, and the Angels just can't figure it out.
Yeah. It's almost like they've got too much Anaheim in them, in like the Disney thing where they'll do a lot for the facade, but they really don't
Maybe.
care what's behind it. Like, oh, just put a fucking wood board and paint it to look like hillside and put that behind the animatronic
Except
that's 80 years old.
Disneyland does a way better job at that stuff. And frankly,
Yeah.
like there's all kinds of weird stuff. Speaking of Anaheim, with their stadium and land around it deal that kind of didn't make sense to me ever. And
Mhm.
the mayor is in prison or something now. But the Angels still want the stadium and $5 million from the city. Just like weird stuff that these teams, or these players rather, aren't going to. No one's going to want to go there.
Yeah, and maybe they think the Angels are a massive draw to Anaheim. And I mean, come on. There's something else in
Well,
Anaheim
what do
that's
you
a
mean?
well, like what's the right way to put it? Like,
Or who is they, I should ask.
I guess it would be the leadership of the Anaheim Angels are
Yeah.
sorely mistaken in that the Angels are not the draw. Well, maybe they think the Angels are the draw. Or maybe they don't. Maybe that's why they don't care. Like they know Disneyland is why everyone's going there anyway.
Well,
Like,
they draw roughly 3 million fans a year, which is the mark all the teams want to hit.
okay.
They
Well,
do. They draw fans. They get decent TV ratings. But I'm on record, Angel fans are stupid. And they they they
it
get
is
this
Orange, California. Like
they
it's not the hub of intelligence in that state. Tito
some would
Ortiz was
say,
their fucking mayor. Like
well, I'd still vote for him. You know, they got whatever. I don't want to talk about it. I'm
fair.
not sure where my fandom will lie in 3 months' time when the season's over.
I hear you. Well, it'll still lie with MMA,
It will.
which is good.
And with Ciryl Gane.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have we're not really making extensive picks for this card
No,
because we'd more just so like to do that on the numbered cards, and it's great to get the actual right answers from Ryan before they happen, and he's not here to do that. He is the Nostradamus of us.
it's true.
But I definitely have Cyril in this. I don't see Sergei Spivak having a fucking chance. Like I'm a Spivak fan, and he's great. He's very, very good. He's very aggressive. He's very technical. That aggression may be an edge that he has with Ciryl, but it is not a big enough of an edge. Ciryl is just too professional. He's too athletic. He's too fast, and his strikes will be so technical, or maybe not technical, I should say, will be accurate. And I don't see this going all 5 rounds. But if it does, I think Sergei Spivak is gonna look like a fucking potato by the end of it. And
Yeah, I see
Gone
Ciryl wearing him
won't.
down, stopping it late in the third or in the fourth.
I could absolutely see a fight like that.
I guess Sergey could catch him, but the closest, and even then, this isn't a great comparison. The closest to Ciryl Gane that Spivak has ever fought is Tom Aspinall, and he got knocked out in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I think Cyril's gonna need a lot of luck.
this is a guy that didn't get knocked out by Francis Ngannou
Yeah.
and kind of started a fight with John Jones.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think Cyril's got a very good chance. I already kind of spoke on Manon and Rose.
You have Rose there?
I do. I'm gonna stick with Rose there, and I'm gonna stick with Sub. Like I think
Okay.
I'll be that specific.
Give me Ciryl. I'll go with Rose, even though I don't feel good about it. And then I just give me the Frenchman all the way down.
Yeah,
Or
after
women.
that, I would very much so. I think Manon is probably the weakest French on this fight in terms of everybody, in terms of who they're fighting, not in terms of in general. Um, even though she's a favorite and some of the French are not, I'm in alignment with you. I think that there will be a lot of power and energy from the crowd, and I think they want to capture more of that market, so they're going to want to put some winners in. They want to give people somebody to root
I
for.
think all of the French are the favorites. Nope, except the very first one. Ziern
Okay,
against Cavalcante. Conti.
okay, okay. Yeah, so I definitely think they wanted to flood it
And
with some French victors.
Edwards and Cornoli is the French there. And she is a very slight favorite, at least according to Caesars.
Where's Josh Parisian?
It's a crying shame he's not on this card.
The non-Frenchman with
He should be Josh, the real Frenchman Parisian.
yeah, right. He never mind. I was gonna say there's a comparison to make between Drickus being South African and calling Izzy a fraud about being about being African. But there's nothing there. What do you think of
So
early
go
about the
ahead.
Strickland Izzy
I
change up?
was just gonna ask you the same thing. What change up? What do you mean?
Just that Izzy's fighting Strickland instead of Drickus. We've
Yeah.
briefly touched on it in the past,
I
but
think
man,
Drickus
that's
is far more compelling.
definitely this fight is fast approaching. Believe it or not, it's
Yep.
already in 2.5 weeks.
If, however, there is a guy that could catch him, it's gonna be Sean Strickland, but that's not gonna happen.
No.
And frankly, as I'm looking more at this card, just give me the down unders the whole way for the most part.
Oh yeah. I should bring it
I
up
think
myself.
so. Our guy Manel Kopp is back.
Did they find an opponent for him?
Felipe dos Santos.
Okay.
Welcome to the UFC and make your debut against this nightmare of an opponent.
Yes. Good. I'm happy he's got a fight. That's what matters.
Who was he supposed to fight? Now I can't remember. Oh, Kai Kara France.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's better for him because he beats Kai Kara France, but whatever, get a win. And man, we have not seen him in almost a year.
That's wild. Poor Manel. Yeah, the rest of that card, like this is also this has a recipe for some fun. Because I mean, I know you don't particularly care for Tai Tuivasa.
No, I like Tai Tuivasa.
That versus Alexander Volkov is
Yeah,
interesting.
absolutely. I like
This,
Justin Tapa too.
yeah, Justin Tafa, that's going to be fun. Tyson Pedro, I'm a big fan of Tyson Pedro, and Anton Turkalj is a good matchup. Carlos Ulberg versus Jung Duan. Again, another really good one.
Yep.
Jamie Malaki is coming back against John McDessie, who should have retired 15 years ago.
Jamie, just a bunch of.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a great card. 1, 2, 3.
It's an okay card.
There's only 10 fights on it right now, and there are no female fighters on this card yet.
I don't think we get any more fights on this card. I think this is where it stays.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't. Still a fun one. That one next week we'll have to make some picks. No, the week after.
For the Noche UFC or whatever.
Yeah, that's what we're making next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next week we'll be doing picks.
Is that before 293? No.
293 is
on the 16th. No, 293 is on the 9th. It's a week from Saturday. The other one is the week after.
Oh my gosh, I thought Izzy was 2.5 weeks away. It's a week and a half away.
Now let me ask you this.
Woo.
Which one's actually the better card?
Oh man. Oh man. Why'd you have to do that? Why'd you have to do that and make me compare it?
The Noche UFC or 293?
Really hard. That's really hard. I'm gonna, as a whole, that Grasso Valentina card.
That whole card is fun.
The whole card makes me want to watch everything. The main card of 293 beats it.
Does it?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I think
now
this
I'm saying
this
it, I'm like tied to Avasa.
Noche UFC or whatever they're calling it, I think is partially so cool because they have sold worse pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. This year.
So right. So
yeah, that I'm looking forward to that. Maybe we'll make some picks for that next week.
Or you know what? Well, shit. That would be maybe we'll have to. That's the day Ryan and I are going to go drinking that day. Maybe we figure out a way to do like a live, or we just record ourselves watching and reacting live. I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Damn. Yeah, we'll figure something out.
That's a really good fight night card.
Mm-hmm.
It just is. It's just a good fight night card.
That's one of those ones where I might block out the time and yeah, maybe we could do a Twitch stream or something. I do plan on switching up our podcasting stuff next month.
Okay.
Not that everyone needs to know the technical side of this thing, but yeah, I do plan on switching up, likely using Headliner.
No free shout outs.
Just a different software, but we'll see. I want to have the video and be able to do some stuff with that. Yeah. Anyway,
what do you want to take it out on?
Geez, I want to do something about a fight night being better than a pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
What's the German word for constipation? Far from Putin. The dad joke made Dom sign off. 2024.
Hey, you know why I love MMA so much? It's pretty neat. That is 100% true, but it's also because it brings us together. You know what? Violence really does bring people together. Yes, let's get back